Good evening. I hope that everyone enjoyed the Buffalo Bills versus Miami Dolphins game that happened. So in this video, I will discuss about what is Splash Sports and how much you will like it. And I will also be doing a safe or trap survivors picks for week 2 of the NFL and week 3 of NCAA football on Splash Sports. Now, before I begin, I want to say rest in peace to former Detroit Lions linebacker Joe Schmidt, who passed away yesterday at the age of 92. Schmidt was also a two-time NFL champion, which was before the Super Bowl, eight-time Pro Bowler, two-time second-team All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowl, NFL's 1950s All-Decade Team, NFL's 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, Pride of the Lions, Lions 75th Anniversary Team, Detroit Lions All-Time Team, Detroit Lions jersey retired number 56. He was also the first team All-American and first team All-Eastern in 1952. Pittsburgh Panthers jersey retired number 65. He was also in the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 1973, the College Football Hall of Fame in 2000. Not to mention, in case you did not notice, he was the first Detroit Lions head coach to take the Lions to the playoffs in 1970. That was the first year of the NFC and AFC, which they lost to the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC divisional game. So, as you're watching this video, you're going to ask yourself this question: what is Splash Sports? Got that answer for you. So, Splash Sports has been in business since last year. It is a skill-based sports gaming platform that is built for friends to use your knowledge or your friends' knowledge so you can compete for real cash. So, there are 4 games to play on Splash Sports. So you have tiers, one and done, survivor, and pick'em. So in a survivor contest, so you have to pay attention to the schedule and determine your winner for the week. So once you use a team, you don't pick that team again. So lock in your selections and sweat out your pick. You can make some You can choose which one before the actual deadline of that particular week. And last but not least, if you want to win, you will advance the next week and you want to outlast the competition and take home the cash. Now, the second one is tiers. So, in tiers, what Splash Sports does is they divide the NFL's best into tiers based on projected fantasy points. So, you pick one player from each tier with no positional requirements based on you think who will score the most fantasy points. So just like you're playing fantasy football on whoever's can give you the better points. Second, watch your team compete. Your players will earn fantasy points based on their in-game performance. Your goal is to finish the contest with the most points scored out of any user. And third, you want to finish the contest with the most points. That way you can win the cash prize. Third one is pick'em. So you have to check the matchup for the week's slate of games and identify the winners. So you earn points based on each correct selection, but you will not lose points for losing picks. So lock in your selections before the pick deadline and see how the game turns out. So you have to make sure you're paying attention to features like confidence and best pitch that could land you more points for correct picks. So finish the contest with most points and cash is yours. Then last but not least is the one and done. Now, one and done, you will see that during PGA tournaments. So you pick one golfer for each tournament and earn points in their dollar winning scoring based on how much they earn in the tournament. So once you use them, once you use that person once, that golfer once, you lose them. So in order for you to win, you have to have the most dollar winnings at the end of the contest and take home the cash. So as you're seeing the ticker, make sure you go on to splashsports.com to check to see which game that you can play in your area, your state. So since I live in Michigan, I will be able to play all 4 games. And you can also create games on Splash Sports. So remember, you are playing against other people rather than playing against the house, such as Prize Picks, where you play against the house. As you know, states are cracking down these daily fantasy apps that mimic like sports betting. Okay, so we got that out the way. So I am going to do my safe and trap survivor picks for week 2 of the NFL. And then after that, I'm going to do for week 3 of college football. So here we go. So week 1 of the NFL was not good for survivor contests since the Patriots pulled off an upset week 1 against the Bengals. So the most popular pick virtually every contest entering the season. So the Bengals were 1-9 in weeks 1 and 2 the last 5 years. Now they're 1-10 because of that loss. So that is from Daniel Kelly from FTN Fantasy. So I got to give credit to what is due. Okay, so here we have the first game. First game is Colts versus Packers. So Jordan Love suffered a serious knee injury that put him in doubt and whether he'll return. So more than likely, the Packers will use Malik Willis as their starting quarterback. So Willis has a career of 52.2 completion rate and is 0-3. Colts team that just took the Houston Texans to the limit. So there is concerns with that Colts defense as they surrendered 159 rushing yards to Houston's Joe Mixon last week. So a similar performance from Green Bay's Josh Jacobs could spell disaster. The Colts can likely load the box every play with Willis under center, forcing the former Tennessee Titan to beat them rather than Jacobs. So when I look at this game, I do see this game as safe. So if I were you, I will pick the Indianapolis Colts. So I got this game as safe. Pick the Colts. Second one, we have the LA Chargers and the Carolina Panthers. So when you look at Carolina Panthers, this is a very terrible team. No question about that. All right. And last week, Carolina allowed 180 rushing yards against the Saints, and they were among the worst run defense in the league last season. So if I'm the Chargers, you want to play a clean game to secure that win, and picking them saves all the elite teams for later weeks. So that's another game I have as safe. I will pick the Chargers in this one. Now, the Cowboys and Saints. Now, this is Fox's single header game, so that's like top of the game. So if I were you, if you were thinking about picking Dallas, you more likely would have to save Dallas for a week where their matchup is more of a sure thing. Prescott has faced the Saints 3 times in his career, and the Saints defense have given him some problems. So Cowboys have a 2-1 record in those games. Prescott threw 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions while averaging 236.7 passing yards per game. I got this game as trap. So if I were you, I will avoid this game. Number 4, I also have another one that is trap. That is the Giants and the Washington Commanders. So as the Giants are looking like a good fade option, division games are one to avoid. So more likely Washington is a better team between those two. So I would say that as a trap. And then another one I have trap is the Buccaneers and Lions. Both teams did win in last week. As you know, the Lions beat the Rams on Sunday Night Football, and the Buccaneers won their games. So both of those teams won their games at home. Now, the safest of the safest is the Raiders and the Ravens. I do have the Ravens in that one, so that's a safe. So that's like a better pick that we saw against the Chargers. Okay, so the Ravens will be a popular pick. So they're worth saving, but if you want to live to fight another day, that will be a pick. So that is all the 6 games I have for the safe or trap for the NFL. Now we're going to head into college football. So first one we have is LSU and South Carolina, as LSU is traveling to South Carolina for just the 3rd time since 2003. And there will be some challenges with both a hostile atmosphere and potentially adverse weather conditions. Okay, weather figures to be a factor when LSU heads to South Carolina on Saturday, with the remnants of Hurricane Francine affecting the region. So LSU is going to have to adjust their preparation schedule this week due to storms in Baton Rouge. The Gamecocks, South Carolina, have a 5-star freshman by the name of Dylan Stewart that could pose a problem for LSU offensive line that has not met high expectations so far this year. So even though they're going to have the rain, the atmosphere at Williams-Brice Stadium will be electric, placing LSU firmly on upset alert. So if I were you, I will avoid this game. I got that game as trap. I avoid that game. Second one we have is Boston College and Missouri. And Missouri is a 16.5 favorite, as Missouri's defense has been impressive through the first two games this season because they hold their opponents scoreless. So you can argue that Missouri has played FC opponents like Murray State, and then after that is Buffalo. So the defense looks just as good as it did a year ago, despite departure of coordinator Blake Baker. So this will be a true test for Missouri as they face Boston College for a top 25 matchup as the Eagles bring an efficient rushing attack, which includes dual threat quarterback Thomas Castellanos on the road, despite facing weaker competition so far, as Missouri has allowed fewer than 3 yards per carry, which should lead to a continuing promising start for the Tigers. So I got that game as safe. So pick Missouri for that. As another one, we have Arizona and Kansas State. So for the second straight game, Kansas State finds itself on upset alert after nearly escaping a loss to Tulane, as Arizona is also looking to bounce back after a disappointing performance against FCS Northern Arizona. As both teams have success on the ground, Kansas State leans more heavily on its rushing attack. So the question is, could this game be where Avery Johnson truly breaks out? Has he just had 11 carries across the first two games, but he has the ability to hurt defenses with his leg? For Arizona, is a dangerous team that can score quickly and challenge the Kansas State defense. This one, I do not want anything to do with this one, so I have that game as trap. Now, this is a rivalry game. It is Oregon and Oregon State, even though both of those teams used to be in the Pac-12, or Oregon is in the Big Ten and Oregon State in the Pac-12, still in the Pac-12. After two surprising performances, including a last-second field goal to escape an upset against Boise State, Oregon is on alert heading into Week 3 rivalry against Oregon State, as that game is in hostile territory at Corvallis, and emotions of the Pac-12 departure still fresh in the minds of the Beavers. And the bad news for Oregon, they are facing a Oregon State Beavers team that is ranked 6th nationally in rushing attempts and is averaging 5.5 yards per carry through those two games, as Oregon gave up 221 yards, 3 touchdowns on 6.7 yards per attempt last week to Boise State. So that game, I have that as trap. Another one we have is Alabama and Wisconsin, as Alabama beat South Florida by 26. Game was much closer than the final score showed. Alabama did almost everything wrong to put itself in danger with 3 turnovers and 13 penalties for 120 yards. Okay, but they did explode in the fourth quarter, resulting in the win. So Alabama is heading to Wisconsin, and they're looking to become the second SEC team to beat a Big Ten team on the road in as many weeks. So as much as attention as Wisconsin and Camp Randall Stadium, as you know, they always play that song Jump, get as a difficult place to play. The Badgers are 10-6 at home since 2022, including a loss to non-conference Washington State. So I have that game as safe. I will pick Alabama on that one. And then another one I have safe is Arkansas State and Michigan, 17th ranked Michigan. So Arkansas State squeaked out 1-score victories against Central Arkansas and Tulsa. Question is, can they keep it close in Ann Arbor? So Michigan, I expected Michigan to lose last week against Texas. So I'm not surprised they lost that game. And plus, Michigan's in a real rebuilding year. Now, Michigan is going to face a Red Wolves defense that allowed 199 rushing yards per game on 6.2 yards per carry. So I have that game as safe. So if Michigan does execute correctly, then Michigan will get the W. So I have that game as safe. So take the Wolverines. Now, before I go, I want to say this. I'm going beginning next week. I am doing a Survivor contest on Splash Sports. That will be for the NFL and NCAA football. It'll say NFL Safe safe or trap, the link will be in the box description below. And you can also download the Splash Sports app on Google Play or on your Apple device. You can also follow me on Instagram, X, aka Twitter, TikTok, and Thread. You can follow me there, and then you can do the same thing. 586 Sports, and my user handle is 586 Sports S, by the way. And then you can also follow 586 Sports, the same thing, Instagram, X, also known as Twitter, TikTok, Thread. So if you have any questions, feel free to put your comment in below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for taking the time to listen, as I will give your picks for survivor picks for NFL and NCAA football next week. So you guys have a wonderful and safe week. Thank you. Take care.